Hey guys, Jacob with Jacob Comics. All right, we have a really fun episode tonight. We're going to be reviewing Nightwing 98, the with the first appearance of NITE-MITE. All right, guys. Now, before we get dived into that super fun issue, I do want to let you guys know about the 600 subscriber giveaway. When we hit 600 subscribers, we'll be giving this book away. It's a Marvel #1 variant. All you have to do is like the video, comment down below, and be subscribed to the channel, and that'll give you a chance to win. And we'll be raffling that off when we hit 600 subscribers. All right, guys, let's get dived into the book. First off, I do want to let you know we're going to be going heavy into spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled for Nightwing 98, that's your warning. Next, we always shout out the creative team because without the creative team, we wouldn't have a comic book, right, guys? So on this issue, we have Tom Taylor is the writer. The art is by Daniel Di Niculo. The colors are by Adriano Lucas. The letters by Wes Abbott. And the cover art by Bruno Redondo. Alright, guys, let's go ahead and get started into this issue. And it says Bloodhaven now. And we hear a voice that says Olivia. And this little girl, Olivia, says, "You're not real, you're not real, you're not." And the voice says, "Oh, we're very real, Olivia, and we're coming for you. Your time is almost up." And she looks scared. It's a little girl in her bed at night. And then we go to the Gotham Woods, the cliffhanger from last issue, the kind of guy that looked like Nightwing, and he says, Nightwing says to him, "Who are you?" And the guy says, "You don't recognize me? Oh, wait, you lost your memory when you were Rick Grayson, so you might not remember. After you were shot in the head, you became this guy for a while." And he says, "Shh," as Batgirl is standing behind them and is kind of like, "What?" And he says, "Look, I don't know what this is, but you can't be here with that face." And he goes, "Oh, right, anonymity," and poofs into the older version of Nightwing. And by the first appearance that people are saying is in this, or I just told you too was in this, you're probably starting to guess who it might be. And Nightwing goes, "Not really." And Nightmite says, "Why not? Is it the ponytail mullet? Personally, I think you made it work." And Nightwing says, "What's happening? Who are you?" And he says, "Just your biggest fan always. Wanted to meet you." And Nightwing says, "Thanks. But that in no way clarifies anything. What are you?" As he poofs into Nightmite and even says, "I'm Nightmite," and poofs into him. And then Nightwing is just like, "You're a fifth dimensional imp." And Nightmite says, "Yes, you're so clever and charismatic and pretty. I, I can't believe I'm actually meeting you." Nightwing says, "Look, Nightmite, this isn't a great time." Nightmite says, "Because you're on an impromptu date weekend with a tied up mob boss?" Nightwing says, "I'm on an impromptu date weekend with my girlfriend Batgirl." Nightmite says, "And a tied up mob boss." Nightwing says, "No, well, yes, he's here, but he's not part of the romance." As Batgirl busts in and says, "You have an imp?" And Nightwing puts his hand to his face and says, "Please, don't find this entertaining." And she's smiling away and says, "Too late." And Nightmite proclaims, "Batgirl, wow. I mean, I ship him with Starfire, but whatever makes him happy, I guess." And she gets grumpy. She's like, "Excuse me?" And Nightmite says, "Speaking of which, you two have had this will they, won't they thing going on. And while you've clearly finally settled on yes, they will, I think this whole thing could use some progression." And Nightwing says, "What are you talking about, progression?" As Nightmite turns into the pastor and starts the whole "Dearly beloved, We have gathered here today to wed. As these two are like, wait a minute, we're not quite ready to be married already, right? And they both go, no. And Nightwing says, not yet. And Batgirl replies, not yet. And Night-Mite says, why? What's wrong with happiness and commitment? You don't have to be like this guy at all. All self denial all the time, denying himself love, happiness, carbs. As Batman walks up and he's kind of pointing at him, he was describing him. And Batman says, you've developed an imp? And Nightwing says, wait, Batman, are you actually here? And Nightmite says, look, he may not be Father of the Year, but he wouldn't miss your wedding. Batman says, I don't have time for this. There's been a triple homicide. Nightmite says, Eric, so bleak. I don't understand what Batmite sees in you. Go back to your murders and your self punishing life without bread, as he snaps his fingers and Batman disappears. And he says, you're absolutely sure you don't want to see this? Did you see the dog? And they have Bitewing as the ring bearer. And Batgirl says, Bitewing as a ring bearer is undeniably adorable, but yes, we're sure. Nightmite says, fine, Batgirl. You can go back to guarding your mobster, as he snaps his finger and Batgirl disappears. He says, Nightwing, we're running out of time anyway. Nightwing says, running out of time for what? And as we see, they're in Bloodhaven. Nightmite's teleported him to Bloodhaven. He says, to stop what's about to happen here. And Nightwing says, Blockbuster building, sorry to say he's not home. Nightmite says, Blockbuster may be gone forever, but he's left behind a little trouble. Years ago, Blockbuster made a deal with the devil, Neron. He asked for greater intellect, which I guess, if he'd had greater intellect before he had asked for it, he would have had the imagination to ask for a bit more. The upshot is, he sold out his soul. At some stage, years later, Neron, he was able to renegotiate. And Nightwing says, renegotiate how? He sold someone else's soul, his firstborn's. Her name is Olivia. She's your biggest fan, Nightwing. And that was the girl we saw being stalked in the beginning. As Nightmite says, well, I'm your biggest fan, but I'd certainly invite her to my fan club. We have t-shirts, as he holds up a t-shirt of Nightwing slapping Batman. it's it's great. And Nightmite's like, look, the upshot is with Blockbuster gone, Neron is coming to collect. He's sending a horde of demons from hell. And Nightwing says, you have the power to alter reality, why can't you save her? Nightmite says, I'm not a hero like you, and I can't be involved directly. Neron is pretty serious when it comes to souls. A war between the underworld and the fifth dimension? That could end very badly. What I can do is give your weapons a boost. Don't worry, you can't kill the demons. You can only send them back to Underworld. When the time comes, speak the phrase of power to a Screamastix, as he whispers it into Nightwing's ear, and Nightwing says, you've gotta be kidding. And Nightmite says, what? And Nightwing says, can I please have another phrase of power? Nightmite says, but it's so powerful. And Nightwing says, I can't say that aloud. And Nightmite replies, sorry, can't change it now. The demons are coming. It's time. Nightwing says, time for me to face a horde of demons alone? As Nightmite says, oh, you won't be alone. Someone wants to be beside you. As we see, definitely got to show this panel here. As we see, in comes everybody's favorite dog as a superhero, and Nightwing says, Haley? And Haley talks and says, hunt now. And Nightwing says, Bitewing, you can talk? And Bitewing says, can talk? Thank you. Feed me. Save me. Thank you. And Nightwing says, thank you. You're a very good dog. And Bitewing replies, good human. As we see down here at the bottom, to double check this one out, down here at the bottom, Nightmite's like, love eyes, and says, best superhero ever now. And then we see, they're walking into the, trying to go save this little girl, and Bitewing says smell bad, and Nightwing says sulfur. They're here already. Come on. As we see, they open the door to Olivia's room, and there's all kinds of demons, and Nightwing says, "Let her go." And one of the big demons grabs Nightwing and says, "This soul belongs to Neron." And Nightwing says, "Don't make me say it." And the big guy says, "Say what?" And Nightwing says, "Nightwing is awesome." To his batons as they turn into super glow batons. Check it out, guys. Super crazy glow batons imbued by NITE-MITE. And he goes, "Step away from Olivia." And there's a big splash panel here, as you saw, of him kicking some of the demons away. And Olivia says, or a guy has Olivia, and he says, "Hero, stop this now, or I'll break her before I turn her over to Neuron." And Nightwing says, "Olivia, I won't let them take you. You're gonna be okay." And she says, "You're right. I am gonna be okay." As we see Olivia punch one of the demons super hard, and Bitewing says, "Girl, strong." As Nightwing says, her father was strong too. And then it's later. There's kind of a wrap up here where additionally they meet up with Raven, who's saying she can use some spells to hide Olivia from hell, so they won't be able to see her in the future. And she also finds it hilarious that Nightwing has an imp, and so then, unfortunately, the dog is turned back into a normal dog, and we get an ending here where Bitewing says, after Nightwing kind of said thanks him and everything, and he says, "Thank you. I've seen how annoying Bat-Mite and Mixie can be, and I don't want to be that guy. I've been watching you for years. I've tried to learn a thing or two." And Nightwing says, "What's your name?" And he says, "Are you forgetting things again? It's Night-Mite." And Nightwing says, "Your real name?" He says, "Why?" And Nightwing says, "Because I shouldn't be your whole identity. If you have impossible expectations of me, then at some point I'm not going to meet them. It's okay to be a fan, but you shouldn't put me or anyone on that big a pedestal. How about I go first? Hi, I'm Dick Grayson." And he says, I'm Dixel." And Nightwing says, "It's nice to meet you, Dixel." Night-Mite replies, "Hey, this is the greatest moment of my life. So, this is a bit awkward, but speaking of deals with the devil, this city will need a new blockbuster, and I think that could be you." Nightwing says, "You think I can be Blockbuster?" He says, "Without the criminal empire and violence and corruption and constant murder." Nightwing says, "Thanks for clarifying." And Night-Mite says, "There's a hole in this city, there's a hole in this world, and I honestly think you can fill it. You know why?" Nightwing says, "Why?" And he replies, "Because Nightwing is awesome." As ends Nightwing 98. And that final word is definitely my thoughts and feelings on Nightwing 98. Nightwing 98 is awesome. It is definitely a thumbs up. It it made me laugh out loud more times than a comic has in a couple of months. It was great. Um, I super like too how it's kind of this. It's a very contained story. So if you haven't been reading Nightwing at all, and you enjoyed what I kind of said to my son too is Night-Mite kind of reminds me of the Robin from Teen Titans Go, and so if you like that kind of and I read like most of this book for you guys because I was so thoroughly entertained by it that I thought I would share a lot of it. Um, yeah, and the backup artist D Niculo. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this one. D Niculo. Um, I loved it, and his take on NITE-MITE and everything. It was I was I was having a ball with this silly mixel pixel type character, but instead he's a giant fan of Nightwing instead of instead of like Batman as of Batman, right? And so I just it's a riff on a character they've done before. I get that. But I think they really did it well and they pulled it off. I really liked the writing on this one by Tom Taylor. Super fun. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Like this one's Nightwing has consistently been a good read, and then this issue they come out kind of out of the blue and with sort of a different spin on the a little bit more laughs than you normally would get out of Nightwing. Um, the range of this comic is really something to be amazed at. The from one issue to the next, it's always entertaining, yet not always the same. So yeah, like I said, Nightwing 98 gets a thumbs up. That's what I have today, guys. Remember, if you like this kind of content, you watch this far into the video, give me a like, comment, and subscribe down below. It'll give you a chance to win the book at 600 subscribers. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow, and have a great day.